Director of Member and Public Communications at Farmers RECC. We're here today talking about our upcoming annual meeting being held on July 9th, 2026. Before we start, though, we want to take a quick minute and have a really quick safety moment. So we'll take a second and we'll be right back.
When you unplug cords from the wall, avoid pulling on the cord itself. Always pull the cord out by the plug to avoid damaging the cable.
All right, welcome back. So we are here today with Mr. Jamie Moss, and he is one of our directors, and he is from Director District 3. So Jamie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'd be glad to. I'm not that remarkable, but I've been fortunate to live 54 wonderful years, and all of those in Metcalfe County, and have had a lot of experiences. My dad and mom, James and Peggy Moss, I'm an only child. They raised me on Joe Acre Road there in Metcalfe County. They built a house when I was 5 years old, and I built a house on the corner of my dad's farm, so I've been at home ever since. I have three wonderful children. Justin, who spent 9 years working here in Glasgow with HVAC services, has just recently changed jobs and gone to work for a different company. And my daughter lives in Barron County, and after she graduated high school and finished school, she came back home to Barron County, and she works in Bowling Green. And our youngest just graduated from the University of Kentucky, and she's temporarily in Lexington, awaiting admission into graduate school, and we're not sure where that's going to land just yet. But and then we'll have our first and only grandchild, Macy, who will be 4 in October. So she is the love and joy of my life right now, what makes my heart tick. So I've spent 30 wonderful years as of June 30th in the field of education. So I started my career in 1996 as a special education teacher at Caverna Independent Schools at Caverna High School. And from there, I spent 4 years as an assistant principal at Colonel William Casey Elementary in Adair County, and had the opportunity in 2006 to come back home. And I've always loved kids. I enjoy my career, and I enjoy working with the students and families, but it was a unique perspective to get to come home and work with families that you knew and folks that some of them you were actually related to. So I spent 2 years as a principal at North Metcalfe Elementary School. Tamara Martin was the director of special education for the district. I was only there 2 years when Tamara retired. And so that opened up the position for the director of special education, and I applied and was chosen for that position. And it's a challenging position. It's difficult, and as with most anything in the school system, it seems like you never have enough time and resources to do the things you'd love to get done. But it's been a very challenging yet rewarding career. So I will have wrapped up 30 wonderful years as of June 30th, and my plan is to retire next February 1st. From that, and so that's me in a nutshell professionally. And then in my mid-30s, I was kind of an older guy to get introduced to a new hobby. One of your former directors, Mr. Ronnie Smith, introduced me to the world of waterfowling, and so I went with him to Arkansas on a waterfowling adventure, and I was just mesmerized and hooked, not by duck hunting but by the dogs. To see a dog work and retrieve ducks, and that started a new passion for me that has really consumed a lot of my life. And my wife has become a lover of Labrador retrievers, and we just love them like their children. And so I started training dogs professionally for other people about 10 or 12 years ago, I guess, and we founded and started Big Tracks Kennel. And we have dogs, last I knew, I think in about 40 some states.
Wow.
That have puppies that have come from our kennel, and we have a couple of grand hunting retriever champions. We've been blessed and to be successful and done well along the way in the field of dogs, and so they take up. They're a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. It's like a dairy farm. Even you never get away from them. Even if you're not going to train today, you're still caring for them and feeding them and taking care of them, and they pull at my heartstrings such that I feel guilty if I leave them by themselves. So we just end up spending a lot of time with the dogs. So it's been a rewarding rewarding life and journey.
So you were recently appointed to the Farmers RECC Board
Yes,
of
ma'am.
Directors. And you've been to several of the community events that we've done since that time. So which of those events has been your favorite that you've been to?
I guess the Cattlemen's Association
Okay.
meetings for me, and because I feel like I get to meet with and speak with like-minded folks, and I relate to them well because I grew up in that lifestyle, and so I've really enjoyed that. My time with Farmers RECC goes back several years. I've served on the nominating committee several years for farmers as a representative for the former director, Mr. Ronnie Smith, and so I participated in the grassroots committee and a lot of things that have gone on. I've always been impressed by farmers. I was impressed by the organization, the leadership, and just the professionalism and how this organization manages. And like a school system, that an organization that is funded, we're in limited supply of funding. So it's not like we can generate more funding and easily. And I admire, to me, the work that the linemen, the crew members, at the front office, the work that's done here on a limited and a finite budget is incredible. And no one, you're underappreciated, and no one really understands and knows till their electricity goes out. They don't really think a lot about it. So it's been eye-opening to me. I've learned a lot about farmers in the organization over the last few years, and certainly the last few months serving as director.
Sure. So have you ever been to one of our annual meetings in the past?
I have. Last summer, I attended an annual meeting briefly, I guess I would say. We actually were there for part of the business meeting.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I drove through, and did the drive-by with the bucket and that kind of thing. And then we came inside because my dad was chosen last year for the honor flight. And so we came in and actually sat through, I think, I guess the entire business portion of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned so much. There is so much to this job and so much to this organization that I didn't know and wasn't prepared for. So I've been on my toes because I don't want to be unprepared and lack knowledge. So I've really had to go to town, take the task to educate myself and learn more. So it's been rewarding and enlightening, both in the people and in the education.
Sure. What have you learned so far, or what has been the most surprising thing that you've learned about farmers?
Well, one of the most incredible things to me, and I still try and pass this along, I try to pay it forward. You go back to 17 years ago when Mr. Smith was when he was got on the board, and he and I were duck hunting buddies, and I started learning a lot from him. I was like a lot of other folks. You think you're buying your electricity from Farmers RECC. When Mr. Moss, our CEO, at the grassroots committee, I think he had a graphic of a $1 bill, and he showed us where that dollar comes from. And when I learned that 78.4 cents of every dollar that I send when I pay my electric bill goes to East Kentucky Power Cooperative for the power. I think like a lot of folks thought Farmers is selling you electricity, and to learn and understand that we're just charging you for the electricity that you use and barely scrimp by to keep your lines going and keep the offices going and operate the business on that. So those things for me to learn, we're just a distributor of power, and to learn about the different types of co-ops, to learn that there are co-ops at different types of setups for rural areas versus urban populations or TBA co-ops. So to learn about all those, there's a little bit about their structures and how we operate has been powerful to me.
Awesome. So in 2024, we switched to kind of a drive-through format, versus what we had done years and years ago with the really, really big annual meetings. How do you feel that change has benefited our members?
I think it's been. I think it's overall it's positive because as the doors are always open to co-op members. But for folks that are on the fly, and let's face it, we're all busy. So many folks, but that allows you to run by on your lunch hour, run by right after work, or run by before work, or something like that. And I think accessibility to folks is huge because we all live busy lives. We all have duties and obligations, and anything that opens up and allows accessibility for people, I think is powerful. And you have my grandbaby's in the car seat. It's quite cumbersome to get her out of the car seat, come inside, and then put her back in the car seat. In this drive-by format, for instance, you can just run right through and speak and wave to everybody, and you're certainly welcome to get out and have a conversation if you want or need to. But I think that's been very beneficial to folks, and it's allowed people to come in as they're passing and not make such an ordeal of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, if you want to come in and see our business meeting, that's at 2 p.m. And then, of course, if you don't want to make it out in person, you can certainly watch the live stream of our business meeting. And that's at
Sure.
2 o'clock. And you can view that on our website, farmersrecc.com. So democratic member participation is one of the 7 cooperative principles. That's very, very important to us. So why is it important for members to make their voices heard?
Well, there are a lot of decisions that are made by the board that affect us and and the co-op and its operation. And key to the success of this cooperative and us continuing to have electricity in our homes, the co-op must be successful, because this is where all of our electricity comes from. So there are a lot of financial decisions made. The direction and the way we're moving, what programs we can have, what we can offer, what we can do, all of those things that the board can impact, and the board doesn't stand alone to do that, but certainly that the board can support and in moving forward is powerful to our members. Each district has representation on the board, and those spots are aligned that they stagger so that you won't have a brand new board at any one point that the room would be filled with folks like me who are new and learning. So that's pretty powerful, and that it's a safety net to me of making sure that our co-op stays alive, thrives, and remains financially healthy.
Absolutely. So what would you tell a member that maybe has never been to an annual meeting before? What would you say to them?
Well, it's a great opportunity to meet and learn, to put faces with names. I know I met Miss Abigail last year, and I'd spoken with her numerous times on the phone. We had swapped some emails, but to meet her face to face was eye-opening to me. It's nice to put a face with a name.
Sure.
So when you call and you speak with CSRs or whomever you speak with down here, it's nice to have met that person. So that's the social side of it to me. I like to meet folks, and on the other token, if you drive through, that's great. But if you want to stop and get out and have a conversation, if you've had an issue,
Absolutely.
if there's anything that's going on, if you have a question, a lot of us don't. I'm certainly not an electrician. And a lot of us don't understand things. Why does my power go out here or there, or why does this happen? There are folks there who can answer that.
Absolutely.
And if you call in, those people may be busy. But the one thing I really enjoy about this is that everybody, it's all hands on deck for the annual meeting. So everybody's available and present, and someone's there that can answer your question. So whatever you have on your mind about the co-op, we're here to serve.
Absolutely. So we'll wrap up by saying that at Farmers RECC, we are powered by our members and our employees. And we like to end each episode by asking our interviewees, in this case you, who or what powers you?
For me, it would have to be my family and faith. I love my family, second only to my faith and my Creator. And without that security and that peace, nothing else would matter. So I am driven 100% by that, and it's my only desire that everybody else can have in their heart what I have.
Absolutely. Great. All right. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, not that I can think of, other than just to tell everyone to make your voices heard and come out and see us at the annual meeting. We'd be glad to meet you and answer any questions that you have, that you may have. And I look forward to meeting as many of you as I can. I'm a people person. I like to talk. So if you don't have much time, you need to tell me, hey, I don't have a lot of time, because I'll wear you out. But we look forward to meeting everyone we can at the annual meeting.
All right. And just to recap, our annual meeting will be held on July 9th, 2026. Drive-through registration will be held from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. Our business meeting will be at 2 o'clock p.m. You can come in by all means and watch that in person at the Cave Area Conference Center. Or if you can't make it out in person, that's completely fine. You can watch us online at Farmers RECC.